You know what? I get copywritten every single time I play that because of the song I used, but I don't care. I like that song. Let's make sure all of this is set up right. Yep. Yep. Okay. Oh, man. Donna Hall says she's first. Everyone pay attention to Donna. Mark Reality says he's driving back from court. Man, 9:45 driving back. You're a little early. What, did you just have an appearance? And Spider Unlimited says, sup, boss? Sup, boss? And everyone, let's wish Clyde a happy birthday. It is his birthday today. He is 983 years old. Do you like that, buddy? Did Jay go the full 2 hours? He's still going. Okay. What are they talking about over there? I got a little. I got a little bit of news. Okay, so we applied to a whole bunch of new jobs. I called over to one. If we either mute and go quiet for a little bit, it's because I'm getting a call back. I called one firm this morning. Actually, I called two firms this morning. One, I'm supposed to have an interview scheduled, but they still haven't. They haven't like confirmed a time with me yet. Their CFO asked me what times work for me. I said anytime Wednesday forward works for me, and haven't heard anything back from them confirming anything. Let me check my email. See, because I emailed her. None. And then I called over to another firm that they've been. I've had people telling them to hire me, so I'm hoping to, and so I've got a call that I have to make over there around 5:00 today, to speak to the business manager. So prayers are appreciated. I'm starting to get a little worried. So prayers are definitely appreciated. Wasp, what's up? Hail yes to our king. I appreciate the lurking. Definitely, 100%. We are getting close to monetization. We are 140 hours short, I believe. So we're hitting about 50 hours each live stream. So hopefully, sometime this weekend we're monetized. That'd be pretty cool. I want to check in on Dog's Revenge. 952. That's incredible. I'm so happy for them. What are we going to talk about today, guys? Oh, Tesla is. What's up, the Beast? How you doing? How do you count hours? It's just views times the amount of time that they've been watching. So we've got 7 people in here right now. If all 7 watch for, it's just streaming hour. No. So it's streaming hours multiplied by viewers. So if 100 people watch you for an hour, that's 100 hours. So Tesla is dropping their one-time FSD purchases after Valentine's Day, moving to a $99 monthly or $999 annual model instead of the $8,000 upfront fee. The shift promises steadier revenue for Tesla, though, through ongoing updates, with analysts calling it bullish for investors and stock stability. I think that's really dumb. What is FSD? Full self-driving. So if you want to have if you want your Tesla to be full self-driving, you have to pay $99 a month after Valentine's Day. I mean, it's gonna work out for Tesla. But again, this is another example of a car manufacturer building a car, giving it stuff in that car, and then saying, okay, do you want to use it? Now you have to pay me every month to use it. It's right up there with the thing that BMW tried to do. I don't think they ended up doing it, but they wanted to like charge you monthly to use like cruise control or something like that. I mean, that's the day that I think we all become hacking experts. Well, Cole Hauser went off on that Transformers artist. That's pretty funny. So there's a video coming out, or I think she's doing a premiere instead of just a video. Oh, I always get her name wrong. Sevi is putting a video out this afternoon at 12 o'clock on the ice stuff going on up in Minnesota. She's talking about when is deadly force justified and the arrest powers of ice. And I'm really looking forward to watching that. She knows more about it than I do, but I imagine she will come to the same conclusion that I did, that ICE can arrest any American citizen interfering with ICE operations. Just like I said yesterday, ICE is fully empowered to, or I might have said on Monday, but ICE is fully empowered to arrest any person that's obstructing their investigations. All those people sitting there saying that all those TikTok lawyers sitting there saying that they don't have arrest powers. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Some of the dumbest things I've ever seen. This was dumb too. So some dude made some AI art about what's up, Lily? About Jerome Powell. So y'all saw that so Jerome Powell has floated this idea that he's being indicted. Everything that we can see from the DOJ, he's not being indicted. He's being there. The DOJ is asking him, "Hey, explain to us how the funds for this thing have ballooned from like $1 billion to $2.5 billion. Like, we just want to know why it's costing more." And the Federal Reserve is apparently refusing to answer their questions. So he's apparently pretending that he's being indicted. And now you got this weird dude, Keith Edwards, making AI art of Jerome Powell, saying we are all Jerome Powell, with George Washington, MLK, Rosa Parks, Abraham Lincoln. No idea who that is. Harriet Tubman, I think. But this is the weird one to me. Mahatma Gandhi. Oh my God. Albert Einstein. What part of a German scientist that helped develop the nuke is Jerome Powell? Nikola Tesla. Winston Churchill. The Statue of Liberty. Whoever this tranny is. Mother Teresa, and Joan of Arc. What? Joan of Arc. I'll tell y'all right now. Joan of Arc would have already killed thousands of people over here. Are you kidding me? You thought she didn't like the English? The French hated the Spanish. Just absolutely ridiculous. So who is Keith Edwards? Oh, he's a YouTuber. Let's see. Yeah. That's just funny. Yeah, I mean she'd be way too busy in France. Absolutely. But yeah, just that's we kind of saw this years ago, a decade ago with Obama. Do y'all remember Monk, the TV show? What was his name? Tony Shalhoub. So Tony Shalhoub once said that Barack Obama was our Lord and Savior. And we should have seen back then just how infected the left was with this sense of Clyde, look, the blue sky era of USA was probably one of the best eras of television. Monk, which despite Tony Schlapp being an insane Democrat, is an excellent TV show. I never did watch the CIA one. No, not the CIA one. I never did watch Burn Notice. I never watched it because of the girl in it. She was always so sweaty it made me uncomfortable. So I didn't want to watch it. But White Collar is probably one of the best television shows for network television that I've ever seen. Suits was incredible. Honestly, it was great until Mike and Rachel left. Even as insane as what's her name is, Rachel was still a pretty good character. And then Psych. Psych was excellent. I miss being 15 and watching those TV shows. But I appreciate that, man. Praise from the birthday boy. But yeah, so those claims from like Tony Schlapp, and we heard a lot of other things like that back during Obama's second term, and we should have known back then, like it should have been writing on the wall that the left had gone into this like ideologue lifestyle where they were going to hold their politicians and their leaders up on such a pedestal as to almost render them gods in their eyes. And anyone that wasn't on that pedestal, they were going to say is evil, demented, terrible for the country, all of this stuff, when it's just not true. Jay's sitting there talking about the thing from Donald Trump saying that they're no longer going to be sending funds to states with sanctuary cities in them. I'm going to talk about it later. I want to see. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming out of that. But this is the other thing I want to talk about. We've seen this a lot. Donna, you changed your profile picture. Are you sitting at home right now just like playing around with AI stuff? So 56 prior arrests. He was just freed on a plea deal in Chicago after fracturing a stranger's face. Oh, damn. I favorited the wrong tweet. Can I see what this is in response to? Hang on. I can. We go to replies. Here we go. So Judge Roseanne Rosado let this guy go free after 56 arrests. So freed on a plea deal in Chicago. Now, what I don't know is when was the plea deal? Like, how long has he been serving? What was he in jail for? They say, or in Wilkins here says, after fracturing a stranger's face. So you would assume that he was in prison or jail for assault, battery, something of that nature, which would likely mean that he was, in my experience, arrested within the last year. So depending on how long it took from arrest to plea deal, he's been in prison for jail for a little while. But the thing that I think makes people so angry about this stuff is you've got repeat offenders. And I don't even mean repeat offenders. You have habitual offenders who just are arrested over and over and over and over. And the cashless bail system that they've got in these large cities, the idea that they need to let violent criminals out as a, apology for slavery is ridiculous. And damn it, what the hell is going on with my... Where's my hat? Okay. There we go. That's better. Oh my God, that was really annoying me. This idea that these people just need to be let off on just let go without actually facing the punishment for the crimes they commit. It is a disgusting piece of liberalism. It's a disgusting what do you call them? Symptom of progressivism. It's bullshit. And so this, Clyde, this is the problem with this, okay? This is not Congress's fault. First off, this is a state judge. This isn't Congress. This is the state legislatures and the city councils deciding that we need to, be kind to offenders, that jail is not the answer. They've all grown up in this idea that participation trophies and second, third, fourth, fifth chances, and that's not what we need. Now, I don't think I don't have a problem with programs that are designed to help. Like, I'm not someone that says we should 100% do away with Medicare, Medicaid, Section 8, stuff like that. What I am someone that says is someone should not be on Section 8 for 20 years. It should not happen. Someone should not get arrested 56 times. Okay. If you get arrested 56 times, then no amount of coddling or giving you that extra leg up or any of that is going to help. You clearly have a problem. And maybe you should go to some sort of hospital and be treated, because you cannot function in society. Like the most racist cop in the world would have trouble arresting someone 56 times. Like, this is the stuff, this is what I think makes people so angry, is we see this popping up more and more and more. The dude, DeCarlos Brown, or DeCarlos, something like that killed Irina. He'd been arrested like 20 different times for violent crime, and Charlotte just let him go. I mean, it's a failure of leadership. It's a failure of morality to allow that kind of stuff to just continue. Morning, Breezy. We got some news coming out of, well, I don't know if it's coming out of, what's it called, the Supreme Court yet, but there were some great oral arguments in the Supreme Court yesterday on this transgender case. See if we can find, I saved a couple of them. Actually, let's talk about this first. So the squad is growing. You know, it used to be just those 4 or 5 reps. Now it's become the progressive caucus. Let's listen to what Democrat Representative Delia Ramirez says today.
How do we protect our Constitution?
How do we protect our Constitution? Strong borders. Reignite the importance and the love of life in the American people. Make sure that people understand that life is a gift. As much as we have a right to it, we do not have a right to get whatever we want. And if you want to have a successful life, you need to do right by your fellow man. And part of that means not beating the shit out of someone just because they're wearing a different color than you, or threatening to kill someone because you don't like the way that they spoke to you. Stuff like that.
We have to use Congress, appropriations power, to hold DHS accountable. Yes, and that means we must oppose new investments and demand policy change and reforms.
So, demand policy change and reforms. So this is what's interesting about that, okay? The way the government's supposed to work is every 4 years, the American people elect a president. That president takes what he's campaigned on, he turns it into a list of policies. And he's supposed to go before the Congress every year and tell that Congress what the important policies of that year are. So I think we've already decided what the policies for America are right now. Mass deportations. That's he campaigned on it. He won the popular vote, the Electoral College, every swing state because he campaigned on getting the fraud and the illegal out of the country. I just don't get it. That's not true. I do get it. They are scared shitless of never winning an election again.
It means we're not voting on a DHS package without any reforms.
Cool. Tell me right now, Miss Ramirez, what reforms you want. Right now, tell me what they are. If they have anything to do with not allowing ICE or DHS to do their job, arrest illegals, and deport them, then you are wrong and you should be removed from office.
Significant reform.
What state is she out of? Delia Ramirez. Okay, no one Google it. Who wants to give a guess? Does anybody want to guess what state she is out of? Lion, did you lie? I mean, did you cheat? Sean, guys, man, y'all are more informed than I am. Yes, she is out of Illinois' 3rd district. Let's look into her bio real quick. I'm just going to hit Wikipedia real quick. She's been in office. So she's been a member of the U.S. House of Representatives since 2023. So she's on her second term. She was a member of the Illinois House of Representatives from 18 to 22. Born Chicago. She's affiliated with the Working Families Party. It's a progressive minor political party in the United States founded in New York. So it's like communism light. Look at that. She was endorsed by the Chicago Teachers Union. Imagine that. Morning, Cole Hauser. How you doing? Yeah, I think she's one of those that, as someone like Elon Omar, who's gotten more flack and more stuff thrown at her, and has come under fire more recently, she started to take a back seat, and this lady and some of these other people have started taking being more in the front. Riska says Rebellion Raid. Well, welcome Rebellion members. Don't forget to get your copy of Daughter's Revenge. Jay was trying to raid me. I mean, it's on. I'm guessing when he went to do the raid, it wasn't saying my stream existed. Okay, let's keep going.
Forms. But I want to go further. We have to also impeach Kristi Noem.
Really? Why? Miss Ramirez, tell me why she should be impeached. What high crime or misdemeanor has she committed?
Go further than that. We need to prosecute the criminals in masks. We need to...
Criminals in masks. So the ICE agents. Okay. So where are you going to prosecute them? Are you going to prosecute them in Minneapolis, LA? Are you going to prosecute them in federal court? Well, they have qualified immunity. They have to actually commit a crime to be prosecuted. Nothing they've done so far has been a crime. Sean, tell me more. Oh, Kristi Noem has apparently refused to go before Congress. Or Ramirez has. I mean, Ramirez is in Congress. I'm pretty sure Kristi Noem has only been subpoenaed like twice, and she's appeared. Let's check that out. Kristi Noem. did not appear before Congress. So Democrats have accused Nome of avoiding congressional oversight, citing instances where she was perceived as not answering questions or shutting down information requests. Interesting. Oh, Sean, don't worry about it, man. I don't think that you're being anti, or any of that. I was just asking, just trying to confirm that you were talking about Christie and not her, because it would actually be really funny if this rep had said, "I'm not appearing before Congress." Jay forgot to set it up. Gotcha. Well, everyone, welcome. I hope you all have a great time. We're going to be here for probably about another 45 minutes to an hour. Hang on one second. The person I have a phone call with later this afternoon asked me what state I was licensed in. Where was I? Let's just keep going.
Cut and claw back ISIS funding as natural consequences for DHS's disregard for the rule of law and violations of our rights.
What again, ma'am? Explain to me what rights have been violated. Now, I know that they're not going to explain, and I'm being a little hard on her. You know, that no one's going to explain that kind of stuff in a press conference. But if you've got an opinion like this, if you've got a platform like a representative of the United States has, and you're making these claims, you need to back them up. Look, if President Trump and Steve Miller and all these people were running an actual Gestapo ring, then the people calling them Gestapo should come forward and present actual facts. Don't bring me your feelings. Don't talk to me about being sad and feeling bad for the person who's getting deported. You know what? Honestly, I kind of feel bad for the dude that gets deported after being here for 20 years. But he should have done what was right. Look at all the other people whose parents and grandparents did what was right. Okay, I'm not going to feel bad that you didn't do what was right. So if these people are going to sit here and say that that ICE is acting like a Gestapo, that Trump is acting like a then give me the actual facts. Don't give me your feelings. You know, to quote Ben Shapiro, facts don't care about your feelings. All I want is for you to bring actual factual evidence. You know, we've got too many instances of really stupid people out there who just start throwing stuff out. And then you got half the voting base that goes, "Oh, well, he's a racist." What do you mean? Oh my God, how is he a racist? Oh my God. And then it's, well, the he's mean to Mexican people. Oh my gosh, he said everyone from Mexico is bad. No, he's like being mean to the people that are here. Oh, he's being mean to Mexican citizens that have moved here. No, like illegal. Oh, well, why would he be nice to illegal immigrants? They're illegal. They shouldn't be here. So that, I mean, how many times we've seen that video? Like 1,000 times. Okay, I'm gonna get off my little soapbox and let's listen to her soapbox now.
We have to use every single tool, including the power of the purse, to end the campaign of terror, because we brought ICE into this world, and we have a responsibility to decide what we do with it after. tool, including the power of the purse, to end the campaign of terror.
See, this is another one. Hang on. There's one other video. I think I saved it. I don't think I did. Okay. So there's a video of DHS agents, I think, and SRI, SIT, another group of agents that are part of ICE, surrounding a car, and the context is not there. You have no idea why they're there, because the video obviously starts like 20 or 30 seconds after the incident. And absolutely, that would, you know what? I mean, whether you're a hardcore criminal or you're just a grandma that accidentally honked at the ICE agent that was angry. I'm sure that there is an incident of someone honking at ICE and ICE thinking that they were the crazy people when they're not. I'm sure there's at least one time. Whether you're any of those people, it's going to be terrifying when a bunch of ICE agents jump out of their car and surround your vehicle. Now, I'm going to feel sorry for the one-timer that was just saying, hey, why are you sitting there? And not the dumbasses that decide to follow them with whistles and honking their horn to warn people, ICE is coming, ICE is coming. And the idea that they are creating a reign of terror is so far out of the norm that it's laughable. Again, there are 2,500 and soon to be, I think, 4,000 ICE and DHS agents in Minnesota because Governor Walz has refused to enforce the law. That's why they're there. Because Governor Walz has overseen some of the most blatant fraud in the history of the United States. Now, every other major city, should be quaking in their boots, because if Trump's going to do this to Minnesota, man, I can't wait to see what he does to California. Big old missed opportunity. I think she ad-libbed there, because that's where you go with that. Thank you, Sean. Yes, SRT, Situation Response Team. Not SRI. Those are the drugs, right? Real quick, just checking my email. I sent out another 20 job applications in the last 2 days, so I'm kind of hoping for some quick responses. Kohlhauser, you can put whatever you want in the chat. It doesn't mean that I'm going to pull it up on screen. So as long as you don't say, anything that gets the channel banned, but chat messages don't get channels banned. So at least I don't think they do. Oh, God, these politicians, man. Okay. So we're just going through the news today, I think. Advil and Dayquil is basically all I live on. Well, not live on, is all I ever take. Exactly, John. They already dealt with all of this in the big beautiful bill. That is, despite the annoyance I have that they have sundown provisions on no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, and some of the other spending stuff I have in that. I am very happy that ICE is funded till 2029 because of that. So this is the Minneapolis Mayor Frey.
There have been investigations into this fraud now for years.
That is true. That is absolutely true. Okay. They have been investigating this for a while. Now, I don't think they knew how bad it was. I also don't really think they cared. And I genuinely believe that they would have been willing to give everyone basically just a slap on the wrist if Surter had not gone out there and found as much as he did.
People have been prosecuted.
Yep, there have been 96 arrests and 86 prosecutions.
People have been convicted, and that's the way it should be. When you commit a crime in this country, you are held accountable.
Listen to this, okay, guys, keep listening. This is wild.
And you go to jail as an individual. You go to jail as an individual. Entire communities, entire populations are not held accountable for the actions of the individuals that act.
Damn. Fuck. Okay, so when I read what he said, I thought he was saying something else. So what he's getting up there right now. He's trying to defend the Somali community up there in Minneapolis. He's trying to defend his voter base. Remember, that's how he won his reelection bid. He won his reelection bid because he used clan warfare up there in Minneapolis to divide the Somalian voting population. Now, he's trying to defend that community, saying, we shouldn't hold all of them or we shouldn't say they're all guilty of the same stuff that, these 86, 90, 130, whatever people are guilty of. And that's true. Now, what I thought he was saying, because of how Breaking 911 did this, I thought he was trying to say that I thought he was trying to infer that white people should be held accountable for slavery. And I was ready to roast this dude. I'm really upset. I should have listened to the thing. I want to hear what else he has to say, though.
Actually did it. And so that's where my position is. And again, if we care about the investigation of these crimes, and I do you find it concerning that all of the people that were actually investigating and prosecuting this crime just walked out?
It's a fair point. It's a fair point, Giles. I know I don't do it a lot. But every now and then I'll take my little bit of bite of humble pie. So here's the thing. I don't think that you can sit there as the mayor of Minneapolis, as someone that, is actually intelligent, pays attention to stuff, and believe that the community did not know. When you've got what did that chart that Trump posted say? Like 96% of Somalians here in the United States are on welfare. It's like 87% of foreign-born Americans are on welfare. That's insane. Those numbers are untenable. I'm going to skid over my we'll talk about Amy Barrett in a second. Where was that? Let's see. Is this it? Nope. Huh. I can't find it. Probably. But hey, they all make mistakes. There are probably 10. Yeah, about 10 Supreme Court justices that have been appointed in the last century that were exactly who the president that appointed them thought they were. Obviously, Jackson is one of them because Biden knew she was an idiot. But so Brave Books, which I did not know that Brave had a publishing company. Did y'all know that? So this is the public statement regarding Ashley St. Clair. You know, Ashley apparently is deciding to transition her son. Does she have a son with Elon or a daughter with Elon? Oh, well, no, it's son because it only ever goes one way, doesn't it? There aren't a lot of women that go male, but there's a whole lot of men that go women. Yeah. So Brave said a public statement regarding Ashley St. Clair. Over the last decade, we've witnessed a massive cultural shift. Basic foundational truths like biological sex have become controversial. In 2021, we partnered with Ashley St. Clair on a children's book titled Elephants Are Not Birds. This book communicates a clear truth that our biological sex is not chosen, but something we are given. It has become increasingly apparent that Ashley no longer aligns with the message of the book or with our mission. And for that reason, we've reached the mutual agreement with Ashley that her name will be removed from Elephants Are Not Birds in future prints. A very interesting decision for both of them, I would say. Clearly, the book sells enough that Brave won't just discontinue it. And I wonder if this means that she's giving up the royalties. Our position remains unchanged. Brave Books exists to tell stories that affirm timeless biblical truths and to partner with voices who share that conviction and desire to pass it on to the next generation with clarity and courage. That commitment requires discernment in both the stories we tell as well as the partners we choose. We will continue to act with conviction and tell stories that reflect the truth we believe are worth passing on, yada, 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 yada. This whole Ashley St. Clair thing is so weird because she is a perfect example of someone who outlived the grift. And one that I remember, I know I want to be very careful about this one. So there were claims, again, I am not saying that I believe any of this, or I'm not even stating what my opinion is on this. But I remembered that about 3 years ago, there were claims that Melanie Mack had outlived the liberal grift and decided to grift on the right. And that's what I think is happening here. I think this is a legitimate instance of Ashley St. Clair realizing that she's no longer popular on the right anymore because the relationship with Elon is gone and all this stuff. And now she's decided to go over to the left. And the only way to go over to the left today, or the progressive left today, is to get involved with the transgender shit. It's the quickest and easiest way to get there. And all she wants to do now is be popular. Exactly. Wolves in sheep's clothing. I remember where I was when he died. I was at a swim meet for my sister. And I was sitting there just scrolling through Twitter. And I saw it. And I thought to myself, fuck, that's going to be really bad. And it was. It was not great. Exactly. But St. Clair is crazy. And I tell you what, as someone that dealt with family law for a little while, 3 whole months, the transgender stuff is insane. I remember when I was doing family law, I was really into some of those court cases that were spanning states on whether or not parents had the right to know what was going on with their kids in school. Obviously, they do. And some of those lawsuits between spouses on whether or not one of the parents could object to the other parent trying to transition the kid. And I love seeing here that Elon is actually going to be a caring dad and go after his son. Why is Title IX trending? Oh, I know why it's trending. By the way, if y'all haven't seen the video, I'm not going to play it because it's going to play the song. This video is hilarious. If y'all haven't seen it, I love this video. Every single time I see it, I watch it. It is hilarious. You don't even see what video I'm talking about. Damn it. This video of the girl singing the Beautiful Thing song. It's absolutely hilarious. Love it. I can't play it because it'll play the actual song, and then of course we'll get copyright. So this chick is freaking out over Indeed posting ICE applications.
Hey, what the fuck is this? Indeed.com, what the fuck is all of this? What the fuck is all of this?
So this is the thing that's really annoying to me about the liberals that kind of freak out about the federal government posting job ads and stuff like that. So what do you expect Indeed, Glassdoor, what are the other ones? ZipRecruiter. What do you expect these companies to do? Tell the federal government, no, we won't let you list jobs. We saw a report yesterday that 35% of all job listings are not real listings, and they're only there to allow for companies to claim that that they can't find anyone so they can go get an H-1B visa. Do you think these companies are going to really start being strict on who they allow to post? Do you think Indeed's going to sit there and go, you know what, ICE, we don't appreciate what you're doing. We're not going to let you post a job. And Giles, based off of what I'm dealing with in the job market, I agree with you. I think it's probably closer to like 55%.
And also, what's stopping me from joining?
Oh, I love this part. Okay. Well, I think we all know what the answer is going to be, but let's say it together when this finishes.
Me from joining, infiltrating the system, finding out where my coworkers live and stealing their kids and beating up their grandmas and separating their families. What's stopping me from doing that? They should just come here legally then.
Their guns. The psych eval. When they see the video. Gee, what else? God. Common sense. The fact that you'd have to run farther than 20 feet. I think that's a pretty good list of things.
And your fucking president is a felon!
Always resorting back to that. These people are insane, guys. Like they're legitimately insane. Let's check out this chick too. I think this is an old video. I've seen this before, but it's shocking to me.
I just had a man go, you know you're promoting violence when you're saying you want to hit men. Yeah, that's kind of the point. I want more violence against men. I really thought that was fucking obvious when I said we should start beating our husbands. Thought that was fucking clear with that statement, but just in case you didn't recognize it, beat your husbands. I just had a man go,
I think when we open the asylums back, I think she gets the first room. Padded walls, a padded bed. The window is really high up, so she can't reach it. There is no way in hell this chick is married. There's no way. The most beta man in the world would not marry this woman. And Risk is right. The nose ring theory never fails. Never fails. Not me. Oh shit. Dude. Yeah, absolutely not me. Where is... Did I seriously not save? Cannot believe I did that. Okay. I'm gonna have to find the video now. Well, actually, that was actually quite easy. So, Supreme Court held oral arguments yesterday in which Justice Alito asked the ACLU lawyer, what is a man and a woman? The ACLU lawyer said, we do not have a definition for the court. I'm telling y'all right now, you go before any judge, a trial judge, an appeals judge, let alone the Supreme Court of the United States, and you tell them we do not have an answer for you. Honestly, she should be fired for stating that answer. There's 1,000 better ways to answer that. Mark, if you sat there before a judge and said, I don't have an answer for you, how would that judge react to you? That judge would yell the shit out of you. Exactly. Okay, whoever, Giles, it might have been you. Whoever comment I just deleted, it was an accident. I meant to show it up. Whoever said that just advertise how good the drugs are in the asylums and they'll show up for free. That's A+ comment. So Alito, because this lawsuit is claiming sex discrimination. And in order to discriminate based on sex, it has to be, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, it has to be narrowly tailored and it has to show a specific reason. Because it has to pass strict scrutiny because it's a specific class. It's not a quasi class. It's a specific one. And so Alito asks, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means? Reasonable. And this is why I like having Mark here. It's intermediate? Really? Man, this is why I didn't go into con law. So the intermediate scrutiny test means that the law that's passed has to be substantially related and it must serve an important purpose, but it must be narrowly tailored. But the good thing is, because it's an intermediate class, the law does not need to be the best or least restrictive way to get there. Now, if it fell under strict scrutiny, the law would have to be the least restrictive way of getting there. But the law that, or it's not even the law. This is all based off of the executive order that was signed on like the 20th of January last year. So it doesn't have to pass strict scrutiny, which means it doesn't have to be the least restrictive way of getting there. Which is good. But God, I want to hear it.
Yes, Your Honor.
If it does that, then is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that definition for equal protection purposes? What does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was just understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court. And we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
I think here we just...
So risk it. The one thing that I will kick back on this is, I can tell you right now, her voice is shaky because she's sitting there going, holy shit, I'm in the fucking Supreme Court and I'm arguing before the court. I'm fucking terrified. Like, it's not easy. What any of these people do is not easy. Whether it's Alan Dershowitz or me going for the court for the very first time. It is not easy doing it. Now, you're right that if she had like an actual definitive answer for this, she'd probably be able to say it very well and not sound shaky. But I am going to push back a little bit on that's why she's shaking. I think she's shaking because it's the fucking Supreme Court. Like, dude, I'd be sitting there going like, oh my God.
Just know that we basically know.
I remember there's one story I got that's really kind of funny. So I was interning, I guess, at a law firm in between undergrad and law school. And they hired me to kind of basically be a runner. You know, I was going back between the law firm and the courthouse. They had a big case. It was in federal court. And I went over there one day to kind of watch. And it was right there. I think it was like the first or second day of trial. And it was in the morning, just before court was actually starting. We were in there, and I was sitting there behind the paralegal, kind of waiting for like a list of stuff that needed to get brought over. And the judge goes, now hang on a second. I see some people in here that are not supposed to be in here. and I've got no idea what was said the day before. I've got no idea if the judge has said only the attorneys and paralegals are allowed in. No idea. And I'm sitting there and I realize I've stopped breathing. I'm sitting there like waiting for someone to say whether or not I'm allowed to be in there. And it turns out that it was just some of the witnesses that I think weren't going to end up being called were in there. And I remember probably about 30 seconds has passed and I haven't breathed yet. I remember going to myself, obviously, Caleb, you haven't breathed yet. You breathe, dude, breathe. And going, okay, but wait, before you breathe, because you can't make some big noise of breathing. You need to take a second. You need kind of like swallow a little bit of a breath and just kind of. And so it's stressful being in there. You know, there's a joke that it's really hard to lie on the stand, and it really is for normal people. For people like the Clintons, I bet it would be easy as hell. That's my little story of my life there. So Scott Adams died. Scott Adams was the artist behind Dilbert. A very funny comic strip growing up. I always liked reading it in the Sunday funny papers. And this was, though, I'll tell you, I had completely forgotten about what happened to him. I had completely forgotten about him being like fired and drummed out of his I think it was a newspaper. I don't even remember really. But he had this, and I don't know if Jay went over this, but he had this letter that apparently he wanted posted. For some reason, I can't zoom in. A final message from Scott Adams. If you're reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I am free of any coercion and inappropriate influence. Is this his will? I am free of any coercion or inappropriate influences of any sort, I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk of reward calculation for doing so looks attractive. So here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part of me not being a believer should be quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I don't need any more convincing than that, and I hope I am still qualified for entry. With your permission, I'd like to explain something about my life. For the first part of my life, I was focused on making myself a worthy husband and parent as a way to find meaning. That worked. But marriages don't always last forever, and mine eventually ended in a highly amicable way. I'm grateful for those years and for the people I came to call my family. Once the marriage unwound, I needed a new focus, a new meaning. And so I donated myself to the world. Literally speaking the words out loud in my otherwise silent home. From that point on, I looked for ways I could add the most to people's lives one way or another. That marked the start of my evolution from Dilbert cartoonist to an author of what I hoped would be useful books. By then, I believed I had amassed enough life lessons that I could start passing them on. I continued making Dilbert comics, of course. As luck would have it, I'm a good writer. My first book in the useful genre was How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. That book turned out to be a huge success, often imitated and influencing a wide variety of people. I still hear every day how much that book changed lives. My plan to be useful was working. I followed up with my book, Win Bigly, that trained an army of citizens how to be more persuasive, which they correctly saw as a minor superpower. I know that book changed lives because I hear it often. You'll probably never know the impact the book had on the world, but I know, and it pleases me while giving me a sense of meaning that is impossible to describe. Sorry. My next book, Lose or Think, tried to teach people how to think better, especially if they were displaying their thinking on social media. That one didn't put much of a dent in the universe, but I tried. Finally, my book, Reframe Your Brain, taught readers how to program their own thoughts to make their personal and professional lives better. I was surprised and delighted at how much positive impact that book is having. I also started podcasting, a live show called Coffee with Scott Adams, dedicating to helping people think about the world and their lives in a more productive way. I didn't plan it that way, but it ended up helping lots of lonely people find a community that made them feel less lonely. Again, that had great meaning to me. I had an amazing life. I gave it everything I had. If you got any benefits from my work, I'm asking you to pay it forward as best you can. That's the legacy I want. Be useful, and please know I loved you all in the end. Scott Adams. I love that. I love that for a couple reasons. One, I think we see that post every now and then of PewDiePie, who was, I think still is like the second or third biggest YouTuber of all time. And how he's won life. And while I do not disagree, and I agree to a great state, one of the things that I think men in general strive for is to be remembered. I think at a point we all kind of want, we want to leave the world with something. Whether it's making the world better than it was when we started, or whether it's inventing the internet, or stopping a war, or saving a person's life, or something like that. And for a lot of us, we don't really interact with people enough to be able to do that. Whether it's you're just stuck at home every day, or you're just day to day doesn't really put you in that sort of position. But the thing that I love about this is that he did. This guy affected. Let's put aside the books, which I didn't know he did. But Dilbert, one of the things that I always thought was so funny about Dilbert was he was always kind of the guy that just wanted to get through the workday and move on. It wasn't like he was going to let that stupid meeting or that angry boss really affect him. And that's kind of how I've always treated my life. I'm not going to sit there and allow this angry client or this buyer that's angry about this thing on their loan package, or the attorney that's upset at me for not getting their quit claim deed done in time or something. I'm not going to let them ruin my day. Deal with the issues that you've got going on and just move on. We don't have superpowers. We don't have time turners. We can't change the way people think about us. Okay. All of y'all have an opinion about me, whether it's we love this guy or this guy's a fucking idiot. I know there's at least one of y'all that think I'm a fucking idiot. But I'm not going to sit there and let that ruin the rest of my day. In an hour and a half, I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption 2 over on King's Advisors and have a lovely time until my phone call. Why should I let what I cannot control affect my day-to-day life? And that's what I love about this. Right up you, risk it. J3P is a genius. What are they up to? 952. They're gonna break 1,000 by the end of the week. I think they'll break 1,000 tonight on because he's going over on Wicked Virtues show. I think they'll break 1,000 tonight. I know what I did. I know. I'm just scrolling through. They've got a bunch of underneath that. They've got a bunch of Dilbert cartoons. Oh, I love this one. Look at this. Can I take time off for a death in the family? Well, it depends. Who dies? Can you be more specific? It has to be you. It's so true. I mean, the other thing that kind of that Dilbert also kind of showed, at least for me, is it's good to like where you work and enjoy the people that you're working with, but this is not your family. They're not going to be your family. They're not going to sit there and catch you when you fall. I don't go to work to to be best buddies with the guy in the next office, or to find a new family. I go to work to make money and do a good job. That's all that should ever matter. You get these companies now that have core values, and they want everyone on the team to be all in on these 6 or 7 things to really make the company a family and all this stuff. But they will fire you in an instant. They do not give a shit.
Just before you.
And the hang on. Come on, Twitter. Exactly. They want a one-way family. Oh my God. Hey, we're here, right? Y'all can hear me. Yeah. It's still going. Exactly. Companies are a family the way liberals are a family. They kick you out when you're not useful anymore. Yep. I'm just going to share that later. Well, hang on a second. All right. Good morning, Marianne. I kind of want to talk about what Amy Coney Barrett said, but I need someone to teach me the lingo. Okay. A trans woman is a man that wants to be a woman, right? Oh. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. It is good news. I might have a job. I won't know for about another week. I need to the person that I need to talk to and needs to actually interview me is in the office till next week. So I've got a Zoom call next Thursday. I did specifically ask him. I was like, look, here's the deal. I have a terrible habit of like assuming too much and thinking that something is, a sure deal or something like that. Can I believe that this is going to happen? And he said, I think that's probably a pretty good shot. I like you already. So that peace of mind, man. Now I'm still doing my phone call this afternoon. I still I still want to work for an actual firm. This isn't a firm. It's a I'm not going to be too specific about what it is, but it's more of a real estate agent based thing rather than a firm based job. But we'll take whatever the hell we want. LOL. Okay, so first off, risk it. Go with chicken salad, dude. Go that healthy side. If it was Tuesday, I'd say go with tacos, but it's not Tuesday. Also, Sheriff said that he thinks what I said was correct. Okay, so I'm going into this part of the conversation. This is going to be the last bit for today. I'm going into this with the assumption that what AECB is saying here is good. I know she uses the language. I don't agree with using the language, but it's my belief that she's using it so that there's no confusion on the part of the attorneys or the justices and what is being said. Oh, that sounds delicious. Cranberry chicken salad on a toasted croissant. So Justice Amy Coney Barrett said, well, let's listen to what the whole thing is.
Since trans boys can play on boys' teams, how would we say this?
So trans boys are a girl that wants to be a boy? Oh, is that right? Okay. So if girls can play on boys' teams,
Discriminates on the basis of transgender status when its effect really only runs towards trans girls and not trans boys.
So what she's sitting here saying is, if girls who want to be boys can play on boys' teams, then how is this discrimination based on transgender status if it's really only saying boys that want to be girls can't be on girls' teams? So that's what she's asking, which honestly is a pretty good question.
We understand the point, and I think that might be relevant to for example, animus point, right? There were not a complete exclusion of transgender people. There was an exclusion of transgender women.
So the reason all of this exists is because the problem only goes one direction. Okay. It's only boys trying to be girls that are beating out women in sports. There are either zero or very few examples of girls deciding to be boys beating out men in sports. That's it. That's why we only see it going one direction. because girls, no matter what, are not going to beat the best man at anything, sports-wise. Look at that problem. So I think that she's trying to set up that this is not a discrimination thing. It is and I also think she's trying to set up that, like we discussed earlier, all this has to do is pass intermediate scrutiny, and it doesn't need to be the best way to stop the problem. The best way to stop this problem is stop letting them do it. That's the best way. But this could go a long way to kind of, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets cited in the decision. In fact, let's see. Let's go to this. So okay. I'm checking the court to see what opinions have been decided. Let's see. God, that thing is loud as hell. So this is kind of the only really interesting case. As a candidate for office, Congressman Michael Bost has standing to challenge the rules that govern the counting of votes in his election. In a 7-2 decision in the opinion by Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Barrett filed an opinion concurring in the judgment, joined by Kagan and Jackson, and Sotomayor filed a dissenting opinion. Here we go. Oh, this is a big case. Holy shit. Well, it might be. Hang on. Illinois law requires election officials to count mail-in ballots postmarked or certified no later than Election Day and received within 2 weeks of Election Day. Congressman Michael Bost and 2 other political candidates filed a lawsuit claiming that counting ballots received after Election Day violates federal law. They principally contended that doing so conflicts with which set Election Day as the Tuesday following the first Monday in November. The district court dismissed the case, and the Seventh Circuit affirmed on the grounds that petitioners lack standing. As a candidate for office, Congressman Bost has standing to challenge the rules that govern the counting of votes in his election. So, if I'm correct about this, I believe I am, everything that's in this, none of this is important, okay? What's important is that this has been reversed and remanded. Basically, the Supreme Court has told the trial court they must hear the case. Or they must, let's see. Yeah, because the district court dismissed the case. So the Supreme Court's telling the district court, you must hear the case. So that's cool. Honestly, that's a big deal because that's going to be a big Election Day lawsuit. So pay attention to Illinois. Yeah, pay attention to Illinois. My guess is end of January. That's going to be huge. I wonder what Jackson said. So Jackson wrote it, and Sotomayor concurred. Under our standing precedents, this is an easy case. Article 3 requires plaintiffs to assert and establish an injury in fact, the invasion of a legally protected interest that is both concrete and particularized, and actual or imminent. Boast has failed to allege that the election-related law he seeks to challenge has caused him to suffer any injury that satisfies those requirements. Interesting. So this is 2-7. Kagan sided with the majority. I would not allow both suit to move forward or on grounds that we have deemed insufficient to establish Article 3 standing for other plaintiffs, because I believe that political candidates can and should be held to the same actual injury requirements as other litigants. I'm serious, guys. This is going to be, holy shit. How long is her dissent? So the whole opinion is 38 pages. Her dissent is 19. Oh, it's 19 and 19. That's not bad. I'm okay with that. Okay, guys. That's going to be it for tonight, or today, actually. It's not nighttime. We're going to do a little bit of Red Dead in probably about half an hour. Other than that, y'all have a great night and great day. God, Caleb. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I think we probably got, 1 or 2 more streams before we get monetized. So that'd be pretty fun. Peace out. Oh.